Okay, hey, this is Scott Herndon, and I want to give an update on some very revealing information that I discovered last night. There's a great website. It's actually pretty good. It's by Controller Brandon Wolf of the state of Idaho. He's the Idaho Controller. It's called transparent.idaho.gov. And at that website, you can look up vendor payments. It's just one of the things you can do at the website. Vendor payments. What does the state of Idaho pay to various organizations, companies, and individuals? It'll give every single dollar amount. So last night I typed in Planned Parenthood, planned, and I got to see all the payments. So there are 4 abortion clinics in Idaho. Guttmacher in 2017, the Guttmacher Institute said there were 5 providers in Idaho. We actually only know of 4 now. And that is the Planned Parenthood in Twin Falls, the Planned Parenthood in Boise, the Planned Parenthood in Meridian. They're all owned by one organization called Planned Parenthood of the Greater Northwest. And then there is another provider who does obstetrician and gynecology, and they have a standalone clinic where they do abortions, and it's Darren L. Weirich, MD. Now, here's the deal. The House Bill 525 is being billed as a prohibition on the use of public monies to pay any vendor that provides abortions. Okay, that's what it's being billed as. So how much do we pay right now to these 2 abortion providers in the state of Idaho? Number one, all of the money goes through the Department of Health and Welfare. That's seen on transparent.idaho.gov. Number 2, we actually pay both abortion providers a significant amount of state money. Planned Parenthood of the Greater Northwest, we have paid through the Department of Health and Welfare $1.3 million over the last 5 fiscal years, including so far 2020. Darren L. Weirich, MD, we have paid $434,000 over the last 5 fiscal years, including 2020. Now, here is the really interesting thing. House Bill 525 will not touch those payments at all. And here's why. So House Bill 525 is being sold as a prohibition on public funding by the state, by counties, cities, and by public health districts. And the reality is there is a, believe it or not, a court decision of the Ninth Circuit in 2013, and our Attorney General, the Idaho Attorney General, has told the bill sponsors for House Bill 525 that you have to put this into your bill or it is legally indefensible, and there's no way around prohibiting government payments to Planned Parenthood because they are a qualified Medicaid provider. So according to this court opinion is Planned Parenthood Arizona, Inc., versus Betlatch, Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals decision from 2013. If there is a qualified Medicaid provider, you cannot prohibit payments under Title 19 related to any services that qualified Medicaid provider provides. And therefore, House Bill 525 will not touch the $1.7 million plus or minus that we've paid to the 2 abortion providers in the state of Idaho. It will not touch it. So I guarantee that in 6 months, or if they pass House Bill 525, they know that it will not affect abortion funding, and even the state of Idaho and all its political subdivisions will continue to pay abortion providers for medical services. The Weirich office, 100% of the payments we've made to them from the state of Idaho are for Medicaid benefits. Even Planned Parenthood of the Greater Northwest, 85% of the total number of payments, there have been over 700 payments over the last 5 years, have been for Medicaid services. But because they're a qualified Medicaid provider, that's the evidence they are a qualified Medicaid provider because we're paying them for Medicaid services, you cannot prohibit payments to them. If St. Luke's did abortions, which we called them yesterday and they don't, if they did abortions, you could not prohibit payment to them because they are a qualified Medicaid provider. And remember, we're a judicial supremacist state. So we're a federal law supremacy state. The Attorney General is not going to defend 525, and you will see that it will not stop any payments to the 2 abortion providers. There are only 2 in the entire state of Idaho. So know that if these bill sponsors are claiming that it would save money, it is not. In fact, one of the bill sponsors is telling constituents in emails that HB525, she said, quote, "We have carefully crafted this bill to save over 1,200 babies in the state of Idaho each and every year." The reality is that House Bill 525, because of federal law and the Ninth Circuit Court opinion and judicial supremacy, will not end any vendor payments to the abortion providers in Idaho, since they are also qualified Medicaid providers. And therefore, there are 1,285 murders by abortion every year in the state of Idaho. They will continue in Idaho after House Bill 525. Another of the bill sponsors believes that St. Luke's is also performing abortions. St. Luke's is also a qualified Medicaid provider. And therefore, even if St. Luke's performed abortions, House Bill 525 will not stop any vendor payments to St. Luke's by the state or any political subdivision of Idaho. So the bottom line is House Bill 525 will not stop any payments by the Idaho state government or cities or counties or public health districts or any other political subdivision. It will not, and that is contained in the Attorney General's opinion on this bill. He has told the bill sponsors this bill is indefensible in court. And that's why we have been saying all along that the courts, abortion has been around long enough that the courts have an opinion about every aspect of it. And if you are a judicial supremacist state, which we are, and if you are a federal law supremacy state, which Idaho is, you cannot do anything about abortion. And therefore, the only solution is to defy judicial supremacy or to defy unconstitutional federal law. So this is a key thing. We have this on our website today in a if you want to see a text version of what I just told you. And I have the spreadsheets and the Attorney General opinion if you want to email me at contact16@abolishabortionid.com. I will share all of that vendor information with you. And the court decision, we have a link to it. It was in a previous post on the Abortion Human Rights Act Facebook page earlier today. Now here's the call to action. House Bill 525 has a hearing tomorrow morning, Thursday, February 26th at 9 a.m. in the State Affairs Committee. 9 a.m. It's the 4th bill on the agenda in State Affairs at the Capitol, EW40, lower level East Wing 40. That is your opportunity. If you are in the Boise area or can get to Boise, tomorrow, if you want to oppose judicial supremacy and a bill that will literally not even touch government payments to Planned Parenthood, tomorrow is your chance to say it. If you want to speak to the legislators about their moral responsibility and capability to outlaw murder in the state instead of doing something like HB 525, tomorrow's your chance. You're going to get a chance to testify to the committee, State Affairs, in the House tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So, if you can be there, show up at the Capitol tomorrow morning before 9 a.m. at EW40, lower level East Wing. That's the committee room for State Affairs. You can even just sign your name and say you're against HB 525. But what would be better is if you go in and you are willing to speak up to 3 minutes or so. That's one page typed out. You can even just read something you write and tell them why you oppose HB 525. But just know we've done research on the vendor payments. Planned Parenthood of the Greater Northwest and the only other abortion provider, Darren L. Wyrich in Boise, are both qualified Medicaid providers, and therefore House Bill 525 will not touch any of the payments that the state of Idaho or any political subdivision is going to make to those two organizations. And therefore, when your legislator tells you that it's going to stop funding abortion, they are wrong. It will not stop payments to abortion providers in the state of Idaho because of a Ninth Circuit court opinion and because of federal law, the Medicaid Act. Because of those two things, and because Idaho is not willing to stop murder and defy unrighteous and unconstitutional federal law and court opinion, HB525 is another useless attempt. Now, what will happen is if they pass it, we're going to come back and say, I'll be able to go to transparent.idaho.gov in a year and see that we're still paying Planned Parenthood and we are still paying Wyridge. And I'll be able to come back and say, see, I told you so. And this is a pro-abortion bill because what it now adds is the ability, the authorization in state code for counties, cities, public health districts, and any state government agency or political subdivision to use any taxpayer money, public funds, any grants, anything they get can be used to put to death babies conceived in rape and incest. So know that that's what House Bill 525 actually does. I'm telling you right now, we will do our diligence to convince you that House Bill 525 is a pro-abortion bill and it will do nothing that affects abortion in the state of Idaho. And the reason we have to do this is because before them is House Bill 361 that would end all abortion. And as long as we're going to do judicial supremacy, we're going to stay in this political football game of checkers where for 47, 48, 98 years, we're going to be doing nothing about abortion except for playing political games with the 28 children that are going to be killed this week in Idaho, in Boise, in Meridian, in Twin Falls. And until we're willing to say no more to the courts, and Idaho has the lawful right to defy unlawful court opinions and the Congress and anybody else, we're going to have abortion on demand, and we're even going to be paying for it. We, the taxpayers. Because the courts have said that's what we're going to have to do. So, 9 a.m. tomorrow, State Affairs at the Capitol. If you can be there, be there. Testify against House Bill 525. Tell your legislators this is not an acceptable piece of legislation, and they should take up House Bill 361, the Abortion Human Rights Act that criminalizes all abortion in the state of Idaho. Thanks for watching. Take action. Write State Affairs. Look down our posts and you'll see the list of all the members of State Affairs. If you can't be at the Boise Capitol, email them today. Today, it's the last chance to email them and stop this in committee. If we're going to stop a bill, it's only ever going to stop in committee. If it comes out of committee, it's likely to pass on the House floor. So tomorrow is the chance to stop the bill, but you got to write them today or show up tomorrow, 9 a.m. at the Capitol. So look down our list. I'll put it here in a comment later. The members of State Affairs, write them. Probably wouldn't bother with the Democrats. They're probably already going to oppose House Bill 525 just on principle. But write the Republicans. We'll put the list down. Email them today. Give them an intelligent reason why you oppose House Bill 525. Thanks.